There's a huge difference between suspecting something is true and standing right in front of the proof, with nowhere left to look away. I learned that difference on a completely ordinary day. There was no shouting, no dramatic discovery, just a quiet, simple moment that changed absolutely everything. I had stopped asking questions, not because I didn't care anymore, but because I was just so tired of getting answers that left me feeling even emptier than the silence did. So instead, I started to observe. I paid attention. I noticed how he would always check his phone before he even said hello to me. I saw how his smiles would show up late and leave way too early. How affection became something scheduled, something deliberate. It felt like an item on a to-do list he offered me, not something he actually felt. He was there physically, but he was absent in every other way that mattered. And still, I kept telling myself nothing was confirmed. Until, one day, it happened on a Wednesday. He left in a hurry that morning, completely distracted. He was so distracted that he forgot his tablet right there on the kitchen counter. I saw it immediately. It just felt wrong. Seeing it there, like finding a personal item where it just doesn't belong. I found myself staring at it for longer than I probably should have. I wasn't actively looking for evidence. I wasn't plotting some kind of grand discovery. I just wanted to put it back in his bag. At least, that's the lie I tell myself now. The screen lit up the moment I touched it. No password. And then a message preview popped up before I could even stop myself from seeing it. It said, "I miss you already." Suddenly, the room felt so much smaller. I didn't open the message right away. I just sat down, the tablet resting on my knees, feeling so heavy, almost like it was alive. I remember thinking to myself, if I don't look, this just stays a suspicion. If I do, this becomes a truth. I looked, the messages weren't explicit or vulgar, they were worse. They were filled with inside jokes, familiar phrases, affection disguised as just casual conversation. It was the kind of intimacy that grows slowly, comfortably, without any sense of urgency. The kind that takes time. I could hear his voice in every single line he wrote. And I realized, with this shocking clarity, that none of this was new. This had been happening while I was folding his clothes, while I was defending him to my friends, while I was at home waiting for him. My hands didn't shake. That surprised me. I actually felt calm, not numb, but focused. I scrolled through the messages carefully, deliberately, as if moving too fast might shatter something incredibly fragile inside of me. Then, photos appeared. They weren't intimate photos, nothing inappropriate. They were just unmistakably personal. A picture of a shared meal, a familiar angle of his smile that I knew so well, a moment that I had not been a part of. That was when it finally hit me. He hadn't just cheated on me, he had replaced me. I didn't cry, I didn't scream. I just sat there in the quiet and let the truth settle over me. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't some moment of confusion. This was a choice he had made over and over and over again. When he came home that evening, he kissed my cheek, just like he always did. I didn't pull away, I just watched him. I really watched him. Every word he said, every movement he made, every practiced easy gesture. And I realized then just how skilled he had become at lying, and how completely exhausted I was from believing him. "Everything okay?" he asked. "Yes," I said. And that was the very last lie I would ever tell for him. That night, I lay awake beside him, replaying everything in my mind, but now with new eyes, every late meeting, every silenced phone call, every single moment I had blamed myself. The truth was rearranging all of my memories, and it had no mercy. And yet, believe it or not, there was a sense of relief in it. It was painful, yes, but it was clean, because the uncertainty that had been eating me alive had finally ended. I didn't confront him the next day, or the day after that. I needed time not to decide what to do, but to reclaim myself. I began documenting everything quietly, saving the messages, not because I was planning some kind of revenge, but because I refused to ever let myself be gaslit again. I owed myself proof, and now I had it. One evening, I was watching him laugh at something on his phone, and I felt something unexpected rise up in my chest. It wasn't anger, it was resolve. I understood in that moment that betrayal doesn't steal your dignity unless you surrender it, and I was not going to surrender mine. I didn't know how or when I would leave. I only knew this: the woman who had loved him blindly was gone. The woman who saw clearly had arrived, and she was done ignoring the truth. The story continues. Watch the next episode on Barry's Inc. to see what happens when truth meets choice. Thanks for watching.